Hello and welcome. We have Sakshi, Deeksha, and Swati with us. We're all fourth year students from Symbiosis Law School, and we're discussing the topic normalizing disrespect. So, the question that arises is whether we, as girls, are normalizing disrespect.
Okay, so I'll start with answering your question, Naomi. First of all, thank you for having us, for this discussion. So I would just like to say, yes, we as girls and women are, a part of a system which normalizes disrespect. And we also normalize it in certain ways. Because I think the first thing is every, society has a set of norms and rules and the way we live traditionally or culturally, and a lot of these entail disrespect for women. And sometimes we grow up in certain households or in certain environments where we understand that this disrespect is common, it's normal, it's okay for us to be talked to in that way, or for us not to speak up when we go out, or if a guy is looking at you in the street, just look away, just look down, don't try and have a conversation with them, or don't tell them ki bhai मुझे तुम मुझे क्यों घूर रहे हो, like what is the reason for it, otherwise he'll throw acid on you, or he'll commit, he'll rape you, or he'll sexually assault you, because we have this instilled fear in us that if we speak up against the disrespect that we face, we might get harassed, sexually abused, or even killed. And it happens. There have been cases where many women have spoken up. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, Jessica Lal, for example. During that time also, she had spoken up, and what happened after that? She got killed. She got shot. So I think that's where we as women come in and we start to normalize it. Because we fear that, if we do speak up about certain things, it's not going to make much of a difference. So why don't we just keep quiet? And that's where we start to take on the disrespect and continue it in our own families, in our own friendship circles, or even in college. So that's where I think we play a role, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I completely understand why, me being a woman as well, I completely understand why I wouldn't speak up, because I have been put in certain situations where I fear for my life. And I take that disrespect and I think, okay, chalo koi baat nahi, aaj ho gaya, chhod do, let it be, let it be, let it be. And that's a vicious cycle, because that man is not only doing it to me, he is doing it to his wife as well, he is doing it to his girl child, he is doing it to all the women in the street. So it creates a cycle, and that's how we have to.
All right, Deeksha, do you have?
Yeah, I think I agree with Santi, whatever she has said, and the fact that somewhere we are playing a role in normalizing the disrespect that is happening to us because we are accepting it in a way. So, I mean, just for the basics, there are two kinds of disrespect which I believe exist. One is a very direct sense of disrespect that you do not respect the other person's opinion, that you shut them up when they try to speak in the family or in friends. You don't let them have their opinion or the freedom to make one, a choice. Okay, and the other is an implied sense of disrespect that like you are at the table but the other person does not have a say because they should not have an opinion on this because you feel that no. I mean, what would a mother say about buying a car, let's say a housewife, what will be her opinion more than just guessing the color, that yeah, let's take this color of the car. That is just an example, but I think Indian family structure to an extent promotes the disrespect and then it normalizes it. So what it does is that there's a kind of respect that you have to give to elderly, and that's necessary to be given. Okay, you must respect the elderly, right? So if I have a nana who is very aggressive and dominating in nature, so all my childhood I have seen him be very like arrogant to my nanny, okay, who was a very sweet soul. But still, as a kid, I always used to be quiet, right? Why? Because my mother wouldn't speak up for her mother, and Nani herself wouldn't fight with Nana. And what am I supposed to do as a kid? I am just supposed to be quiet when my Nana says anything to anybody because I'm a kid. And now I'm grown up, now I'm 21, right? So now, when I know clearly that, see, Diksha, what you have been seeing was wrong. That should not have happened. And now, if it happens to my mother, if he says the similar things to my mother any day, even though he likes my mother to take all the responsibility for him and all, there are times when he believes that, shut up, like you don't have this opinion and let me speak, let me understand this. Okay, so that kind of disrespect is something that earlier I used to accept for my mother. Okay, so that's not a very direct thing happening to me, but then in the family, in the order of hierarchy, I'm tolerating it, right? And that's wrong. And my mother has been tolerating it, that's also wrong. So I think in Indian families also, this thing that, just because you have to respect somebody, the other person has to get disrespected needs to go away. Like you need to respect their identity, their choices, their thoughts. And that's a very first step, because see, like just the way cleanliness begins from your home, the idea of respect also has to be nurtured in the family of 4, 3, 5, 7, 10, whatever you have. It could be a kid, it could be an elderly person, but we have to respect everyone in that house, and that is when this thing will get better within the society at large.
Absolutely. Soumya?
Yeah, so I completely agree with what Diksha has to say, as well as I agree with what Sanjari says. I see a pattern here, and I see that, something as serious as disrespect towards women, it's not just, which we see in society in general. We see that, it's so deeply engraved, it's so deeply rooted in our culture that we can't start to pinpoint it out, like, okay, this is the reason why we're treated like this, or this is the reason why we're not treated like this. I think it's somehow we're, when we're born and we're brought up in a family, we're taught a set of values which differentiate us from the other gender, as women especially. Now, women, since as infants, they're taught to be, they have an objective. Our family has an objective that, okay, one day she'll get married, she'll have a family, she'll feed her children. That's the objective, and that's how she is brought up. Whereas on the other hand, men always have to take the stress of being the owner of the family, or the bread maker of the family. Now, when we start, as we grow up, and thankfully today, we're surrounded, I consider myself to be privileged enough that uh, I have this opportunity to uh, expand my horizon when it comes to speaking up, or when it comes to questioning stuff. I can understand that it's uh, it's not just those major decisions which our family takes which separates us. It's the casual it's the it's the casual remarks, it's the casual way of dealing with two genders which differentiates us apart. uh, Today, there is no end to the casual sexist remarks which a woman has to listen to and neglect and ignore at the same time. uh, Be it okay, you're driving, so I have to be extra cautious. A woman is driving, she will never be good at it. Be it be it if she's been driving her for the past 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, it won't matter. It won't matter, because at the end of the day, she would be a woman and she would be incompetent at that. uh, Second example amongst us teenagers would be, if a woman is enjoying a sport and she's into football, or she's into basketball, or she's into cricket. So the first question which she's supposed to answer is, listen, what are your true intentions towards the sport? Are you watching it for a particular athlete? Do you find this athlete attractive? Like, what is it exactly? They will never question whether our passion towards the sport is actually passion.
To continue, I completely agree with all three of you on all aspects. Uh, whether we talk about what Sanjay said about, how we as women are enabling it. or whether what Diksha said, that we are taught to enable it from our families, or whether, and you've given a completely different angle to it, which is our friend circle, who, if we are their friends, and being their friends, they still disrespect us by saying, you can't get a license, or if you're watching cricket, do you know what's a hit wicket? So these are questions that we are asked constantly, and these are the questions and these are the remarks that we accept, we keep quiet, or we laugh it off because we just think, ha, okay, it's okay. So we've addressed the problem. What do we do? What is the solution to this?
Okay, so this is a very difficult question that we always have to answer. What do we do? What can we do? How can we change
Yeah.
everlasting
Uh,
patriarchy, that never seems to end for us?
I'll tell you how I have dealt with these situations. There has been ample times where I have thought of giving up on the idea that my friends would understand, or some. I just feel that it'll never stop. It'll never stop, and you have to try, no matter what. You have to keep calling out these instances till it's imbibed sort of in the brain that what you're doing is wrong. And so the next time they speak, at least they have the slightest idea that, okay, a friend of mine said that it's wrong, so I have to be more gentle about it. You have to, you can't give up on it. You can't be like, okay, you've said it once, you'll not do it twice. Till the time your friends understand you, your friends are comfortable with you to talk that out, I think, in my personal experience, it has made it slightly better. I'm not saying that it's gone. I'm not saying that we understand each other so well that it does not happen now. It happens, it will happen, and I don't think it have to give up on that. I personally, to empower women, we have to do it collectively, and we do not realize, but there is a lot of strength when we collectively, when we come together and deal with a particular situation. I think especially on social media these days, it's lovely to see when some people are being called out for their inappropriate actions, and be it movements like Me Too. It does help. You will not understand the intensity of it initially, but it does help in a longer run. I personally feel that. So we have to
Yeah,
keep doing that and not
sorry.
get tired of it. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Sorry to interrupt you, Soumya. No, I was going to agree with Soumya to a very big extent because, I feel like I've also had days where I, used to sit by myself and think, man, things are not going to change. Not by me just, speaking up. It needs to be done by everyone. And then I used to, sit for 5 minutes and I used to think, you know what? I'm going to speak for the rest of my life. I'm never going to shut up. And everyone used to go कि भाई कितना बोलेगी कितना करेगी कितना समझाएगी. And I used to be like, I will speak up. I will not tolerate it. I will say to my own brother, I will say to my own father, I will say to my own mother. Because that is how we start to create safe spaces for ourselves, is when we speak.
Right.
And until we do, and until we remain quiet, and until we suffer for the repercussion, because what happens is that women will suffer even when they speak up and even when they stay silent.
Exactly.
There's no in between. There's no in between at all. So I used to, my mom used to call me up sometimes and she used to say, बेटा कितना बोलेगी बता दे आज. और मैं मम्मी को कहती थी, मम्मी मैं पूरे जिंदगी बोलती रहूं. I will speak up, and I will speak up in my office spaces. I will speak up with my friends. I will call guys out even if I have to. And I think Soumya's also done that. Diksha's done that. Naomi, I'm sure you've done that within your own personal spaces. 30 years back, 40 years back, when our mothers were in these kind of situations or our grandmothers were in these kind of situations, they would not speak up about these things, because at that time it was okay to bear all the consequences of everything happening to your family, because you are the maternal of the family, you are the mother, you have the motherly instinct, you take all the burden upon yourself, you as a lot of people today even say, you as a female have so much, that you can take on. But why should I? Why is it that I am supposed to be burdened all my life with every obligatory purpose? Someone wants to get married, it's my obligation. Someone wants to eat food, it's my obligation. I have to walk out, on the road, I have to keep myself safe. Men will do whatever they have to do. They will continue living their life, but I have to keep myself safe. Because इस time पे नहीं निकलना, क्योंकि you don't know what will happen. But what I think also is the solution is educating our boys. Educating our boys, at a very, very, very young age. We all have cousin brothers or actual brothers. I have an actual brother, and I have made it a point in my life that I will never ever let him do something that, is completely against, what I believe in or what my family believes in. We've been treated like equals and we are equals. That is what we're supposed to be. So I call my brother out. If he says something like, if he says something about looks of a person, of a girl, I'll say, you don't do that. You don't, comment on somebody's looks, for example. And these things, these meager small things are the things that will change a whole generation. Everyone says that, it's just one person who can make a difference. It's absolutely true. And, when women come together, like Soumya said, we've seen all these movements. It's absolutely incredible to see the power of women, especially. And we don't need men. I can tell you that much. We don't need men to do it for us. We don't need men to, stand up for us. I feel like women are enough. It's just that men need to be educated enough not to stand in our way. Because that's what they usually do. They stand in our way and they create, repercussions for us. So if men in our family come and say, Beta, you can talk from a very young age. They have a girl child, they'll teach their girl child. There'll be no disrespect. We will learn that external environments also. So I think that's the kind of solution that Diksha, you can speak.
Yeah, so I entirely agree with Soumya and Tantri and the solutions that they propose, and the fact that we need to speak up and not take it for what it is, and always we need to speak up and not quit on it. And I think one feeling that we can promote is that, there are a lot of issues on which you can take a very self-centered approach. Okay, that मैं सिर्फ अपना करूंगी, मैं सिर्फ उन मुद्दों पे बोलूंगी जहां मुझे फर्क पड़ता है. बट शायद ये कुछ टॉपिक्स ऐसे हैं जहां हम अगर दूसरों के लिए भी बोलेंगे तो कोई हार्म नहीं, रादर हम हमारे लिए कुछ कर रहे होंगे. This disrespect topic is something, if you see it happening with someone else, please speak up for them, because you can't just always fight it just when it happens to you. You are actually trying to create a better environment when you do not let that happen to anyone else too. And I think this is the kind of responsibility that's on us. आज मेरी जिम्मेदारी सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि मैं खुद को बचा के अच्छा करके रखूं. मेरे मेरी तो लाइफ में 4 लोग नहीं रह जाएंगे ना जिनसे मुझे इंटरेक्ट करना है हमेशा. आई हैव टू इंटरेक्ट विद any and many people, like random people, and they will only know how to behave when I ensure that if it is happening near to me and around me, I am not going to be quiet. If that other person is not able to speak for themselves, okay, I try to, if maybe that helps the situation. Because I think ये एक आइडियलाइज कर देगा कि अपना काम करो, अपने काम से काम करो, तुमने करा क्या, तुम्हारा क्या मतलब है. This is wrong. This is not what is going to change the disrespect situation or any situation for that matter. So yeah, that's what I think should happen also.
I think it was a really good discussion, a lot of anger, a lot of feelings, and it is true, because we do feel angry, because we are being asked to be, we are silenced all the time. We are made to feel that way, that it is our responsibility to keep quiet in situations for our own safety. But we don't see the disrespect because we think that, maybe it's okay. In my opinion, what has to change is us saying that it's not okay. we should start saying it's not okay. It's okay. Oh, nahi. That term should be just cut off,
Yeah.
because it should be inherent. And I agree that when we have men with us, like we have friends, we have brothers, and I completely agree that if we take a step and we step up and correct them then and there, they will learn, because they will feel ashamed at that point, because they will be called out. Because if I am called out for something, I feel bad, I feel ashamed, I feel, okay, fine, I'm not supposed to do this. So we have to imbibe it in them that they have to do it. And I think, thank you so much for participating in this, being a part of this. Uh, and I hope that our discussion is furthered, and we have more people who agree to come out, share their experiences, and talk about things that they feel that they want. So,
Thank you for having us, Naomi. I
Thank
had a
you.
great time, thinking about it, and actually, realizing that it's not just me who feels the exact same way, like this aggression and this, calling out of some, just relieving ourselves from that tension which we have in our minds.